Hey, everybody. Welcome to Teams Fridays.
What's up?
I'm just trying to figure out where Martin went.
Yeah, I'm pumped after that intro. That
Are
was
you?
cool. Yeah.
You ready to roll?
The bass just really getting the blood pumping. That's
Straight up 90s club vibes.
right. At
Hi, Josh.
8 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, you're right. It is 8 a.m. where you are. 9
It
a.m.
is.
here. So we're still awake from the club. So it's like the party doesn't end until about noon. Then you crash for 8 hours and you go out again.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. You blow off your classes on Friday.
Right. Yeah.
So, Josh, introduce yourself to the Teams Fridays community who probably doesn't know you, but they probably know you better than they know me anyway, but it's just a polite thing to do.
Yeah, sure. So, Josh Blalock, Microsoft MVP, had been in the space in the program for 6 years now, and blogging, videoing, all that a little bit longer than that. Used to prolifically wear a cowboy hat around and do that far less these days, and do a lot of videos on Teams devices and other Teams content. So I'm stoked to be here today.
And you recently joined Jabra?
I did. Finishing up my 5th week, but brand new at Jabra. Joined their marketing department, chief video evangelist over there, doing evangelizing video with video, and that's fun for me. So all good.
And we'll both be at Enterprise Connect next week. I think I'm going to try to pull off a show because Tom Arbuthnot and Martin Bohm will be in Orlando next week. So I think we're going to do that. By the way, those asking where Martin is, he's in the car coming back from the dentist.
Okay. Right.
It's time zone changes, right? Because it's not time zone change. It's daylight savings time, which is the worst thing. I detest it. I hate daylight savings times more than I hate that America is on the imperial measurement system and not on metric.
Oh, I don't hate the latter, but I feel like that's an instance where America got it right and the rest of the world needs to figure it out. But
you mean we got it right by some random English king's length of his foot?
I don't care about the history. It's supposed to be an inch. Okay, that's the measurement. But yeah, daylight savings time, 100% with you on that. Hopefully, Martin didn't have a tooth pulled or something, because then he'd be,
it'll be hilarious. This is emphasize.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to the imperial measurement, you don't say, "Give me a centimeter and I'll take a meter." It's give me an inch and I'll take a yard.
Okay. Well, whatever. I'm not gonna lose this debate because I'm just right about it. That's all there is to it.
That's an American right there. I'm American. I breathe freedom every day.
That's
now
exactly
people need to come flying through and. All right, let's talk some Teamsy stuff. How do I do this? Present. Share screen.
When are you heading over to Enterprise Connect? You tomorrow or Sunday or
Saturday? I'm heading over Saturday and help set up this up. My whole condo is just full of gear for the booth.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, that's
so. The topic of this week's Teams Fridays is what's new in calling, meeting, and devices, and this is Martin Bohm's deck. So it was really nice because he could talk through all these. As it is, we're just going to wing it because this call notification activity feed. Now, a lot of these have been out for a little while, but let's talk about it. So I best understand now if you miss a phone call, it'll let you know in your activity feed in Teams as opposed to just like what it lit up a little red dot on the calling tab. Isn't that about what you're getting out of this?
That makes the most sense to me. The activity feed for me anyway, throughout my historic use of Teams, has been the go-to for everything that I may have missed and should know about what's going on. It should be in that activity section. That everything should be there. So this not having been there and finally being there, well, I won't comment on the not having been there. It's good that it's finally there. So that's where it should be.
Yep. Then the activity feed is the whole deal because I pin the important things.
Yeah.
Then there's other stuff. And you scroll down, it's like some whatever, and it's the thing.
I mean, someone mentions you, it's there. There's activity in your channel that you need to know about. That it's there. Everything is there. You've been trained to pay attention to that little upper left icon, and so if you miss a call, that's where it should be.
So, by the way, on StreamYard, somebody's got a private LinkedIn profile. So we look forward to seeing LinkedIn user as well next week.
Yes.
Definitely. We'll have to go into LinkedIn and see actually who that was, but that's okay. And then, hi, Patrick.
What's
Hopefully
up,
Martin from
Patrick?
UK will join. Yeah.
All right.
Let's see if Martin from UK joins. That'd be fun. And then he can berate us on our measurement system. Josh, how much do you know about SBA on Teams? I know nothing about it. I built my career around SBA and Skype for Business.
Yeah.
I've moved on, and then they announced SBAs for Teams. I'm like, eh.
I mean, it was an SBAs were announced as I was kind of wrapping up some of my core consulting days of Teams telephony, and I did a whole bunch of Teams telephony, back before getting into devices and meeting spaces as my main focus. But it was just coming out as an announced concept, and so I've done super topical digging into it because I just don't do anything with it now. It's just not part of my everyday. So I don't know a ton there. But from reading through this, when you think about the notion of the SBA and the Teams world and giving you that ability to stay up and running when everything is down from a telephony standpoint, it was pretty limited.
From an internet standpoint, you lose the internet, you can still at least make phone calls off the local T1 or E1 or whatever you guys have connected.
And it was pretty limited before. So this kind of expands the capabilities of what can be done if the internet goes down, right? So this is good. It sounds like you're able to continue to call people that are on the same SBA, and you can do a whole bunch of other things, looking up address book and returning a missed call and all that. So good improvements.
I'm just wondering the utility, because again, not everywhere has this, but it's like get two internet service providers, and if one goes down, to the other one. Not everywhere can get that. I understand, but
that should be stop number one. But
it seems like the utility of this is a lot less than an SBA. But SBA Talk, welcome to SBA Talk with Mike and Josh. In a previous life, a customer wasn't wild about SBAs because they're like, if we're down to the parent Skype pool, we're probably down to everything anyway, so we're just going to go home. We can't do work, so our work day is over because we can't access the systems we need at HQ to do our job anyway, or the corporate data centers. So the SBA to them was like, cool. I'm not saying it's not important or a good feature. Just they're like, if our internet's down, we're done working for the day until it comes back. The SBA, we don't care that we can make a phone call. As a matter of fact, because then what can we do? We can't look up the customer. We can't help it with the issue. We just go home.
That's the story for the most part, right? It's limited use case. Going back again to the consulting days, you had the corner cases that popped through and said this is an absolute requirement for X, Y, and Z, and you're like, oh, I never thought of that, but okay, let's design it. But it's pretty corner case for the most part in reality. So
co-organizers to manage breakout rooms. Co-organizers, that just seems like a thing that should have been there day one, and it wasn't. So co-organizers is there now, and now you can actually manage breakout rooms. So you're more of a legit co-organizer instead of just like, I can let people into the meeting from the lobby.
I completely agree on day one commentary on that. Again, I won't go too deep into my opinions on why that was not there for a long time ago, but it's there now. So it's super cool. And
you don't miss the days of somebody like a meeting starting, everybody's in the lobby, and the guy he or she who created the meeting are on vacation, and now massive text. Hey, can you unlock, or can you promote me to a presenter real fast?
Or like your co-host or something is like goes to the dentist during your show and things like that.
Savings time, man. What am I supposed to do? I'm like, it's a calendar entry. Don't they adjust? It's like
I know. Isn't that all about automated?
It's like 2:15 GMT. If it's 1:15 now or 3:15, I don't know which way it went. Probably 1:15. The calendar entry should be smart enough. But then again, I'm about to get on an Outlook rant, and let's not do that. Let's move on. Let's see this. Is this the same slide? Oh, better window. This is like the same slide. I click next.
There's some animation there.
Yeah. Okay. Is there animation on this one too?
I think there's a second image on that.
Is there? There we go. We'll just look at all of it. APIs, graph APIs for virtual appointments. This is a thing that is kind of cool. Bookings, and I have no idea if this ties into bookings. I've never used virtual appointments. But bookings is a cool underrated feature within Microsoft 365 where you can the classic example is you're a hair salon and people
Yeah.
can go online and like, hey, I want to book an appointment with my stylist from 2 to 3 p.m. on Friday. Are they available? If so, you book it, and then on the back end, notifications get sent out and all that.
Right.
I don't know if that ties into virtual appointments at all, but I would hope it does, that when that time comes, instead of booking a haircut, you're booking a consultation with your doctor or your lawyer, or just with Josh because you want to talk with Josh, which some people do use bookings to, like, hey, book time with me. Just throw something on my schedule, click this link. Does that tie into virtual appointments, or is virtual appointments just a alternate view within Teams?
No, I mean, as far as this, and I don't know the answer to the is it integrated there? I'd have to go back and look at that in depth. But this is one of those new things that there's several new meeting templates that are being introduced, and the ability to customize templates per premium licensing. So that's a whole thing that I think we're talking about some more down the road here. But virtual appointments being a part of that, it's been talked about for so long, and it's super vertical specific.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's you can see healthcare, telemed, all that kind of stuff where this is a lot bigger of a deal. But the ability for developers to jump in and use the graph APIs to make this experience something that makes sense, that's a pretty big deal. So. Developers.
Martin's trying to get here, and all we heard were car sounds, and then he muted himself. No, he's unmuted himself. Martin, are you there?
I am. Why don't we change the time? Why
did we change the time? Ask our federal governments why we. Federal governments and state governments why we changed the time.
It's crazy.
We've talked quite a bit about that the daylight savings time and why that's so wrong, Martin. So yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I've just been the dentist. I'm on my way back from the dentist.
So it doesn't sound like you have a bunch of gauze in your mouth or anything. So that's a good sign.
No, he did actually say, "Are you a dentist in disguise?"
Oh, okay.
He was impressed with my teeth, so.
Nice.
Happy he didn't do anything else. So.
When a dentist is impressed with your teeth, that's a positive.
All
right.
You know, virtual appointments are something that wouldn't work well in dentistry. That's just not
virtual.
I think. Yeah.
Not a target market.
No, you wouldn't want to be shoving the camera up into your mouth during the virtual appointments. It just wouldn't work.
Is Martin still there? Martin, you're still there, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm listening.
Are you listening? Good. Are you seeing as well?
I am. They look good. You made them slides.
Yeah, you made that slide, didn't you?
I did.
Okay. Closed captions, always good. Always good to have closed captions. Sometimes I watch certain closed captions on when I'm not paying attention, so I can just read.
Right. It's not just an accessibility thing. It's a multitasking thing as well. So, but yeah, PowerPoint Live, awesome deal. Having closed captions in there, even better. So Microsoft has made a lot of strides toward increasing accessibility features as of late. So this is kind of cool to see that be a part of the evolution within PowerPoint Live.
But one thing I do want to point out on this, there are a couple of caveats that we'll have the option to turn on closed captions for any video that includes a closed captions file. So this isn't automatic translation or speech to text or anything like that. I've done one thing. Have you ever done anything, Josh or Martin, with professional closed captioning? I've done it when we released the original Teams Rooms Windows training 4 years ago at Microsoft. At that time, the percentage of accuracy, so the accuracy percentage of closed captioning, I believe, needs to be 95% or higher. Okay. And Microsoft, using their tools, even third-party tools, did not believe that the automated tools provided a accuracy of 95% or higher. So it went out to somebody who listened to 6 hours of training and typed it all out.
Wow.
Then they sent it back to me. And then there were words he or she, whoever typed it, did not know. So I went through the text. It's just a text file, edited it. Yeah. And then I got way into it. And I spent hours fixing the closed captioning that came back, because you've got to time it to the millisecond. So when
Yeah.
When I start speaking, the word when I start speaking should match up with more or less with when I start speaking. So then you're doing like millisecond adjustments to try to keep it in track. And then you can speed up and slow down how fast it goes. Like how fast should it go to the next one? Because if you have a very fast talker, you have to put the words up a lot faster. If you have a slow talker, you have a lot more time to read the text, which, by the way, one should cheat towards speaking slowly when doing a video than being a fast talker because nobody likes them. It's like being a close talker.
Good commentary. Yeah, no, it is. It is that. I've not done a lot with closed captioning aside from LinkedIn auto generates closed captions when you upload a video or something, and you got to go in and edit it to make sure it's not putting weird words up there for your fast talking that it couldn't understand. So
if you ever turned it on like during the news, like a live show, there is somebody typing, and it's often there's like awkward pauses as they're like, because they have to hear it, type it immediately, and if there's a typo, they have to adjust.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's actually a pretty interesting skill. Teams Premium, not Teams Rooms Premium.
Yes, good call out.
This is E7, right?
E7?
Yeah, isn't it E7 license? E5 plus Teams Rooms Premium is E7. E7 doesn't exist. It's a joke.
Yeah, I had not heard that one before, but that makes sense, I guess, since we go 1, 3, 5, and then 7. So good.
What is the problem with even numbers, Microsoft?
Yeah, it seems like there's some sort of uncalled for bias against even numbers with their licensing.
There was an E4.
That's true. There was. The 4 was special. Wow. But no E2.
It didn't last long, though.
Yeah.
Did not last long. I like that this slide, Martin, it mentions GPT from OpenAI because that makes it cool.
Of course. It's got to be there.
Just squeeze in GPT somewhere and your presentation's gold. That's
That's it. I'm going to add GPT everything. By the way, this show was written by ChatGPT, and we're just reading the script as we go through these. That's why Martin's a little slow and hard to hear because it's difficult to read his prompt. That he's got to read his prompt on his phone while he's doing that. So so the intelligent meeting recap. Martin, Josh, hasn't Microsoft been talking about this for like 2 years? Like, have they been ChatGPTing in the background for 2 years? Or like 9 months ago, they were like, yeah, scrap that entire thing, redo the entire thing using ChatGPT.
Yeah, I mean, I think bits and pieces that started to come out, right? You had the ability to go and search for spoken words in meetings a while back. And so it was an evolution getting to this point. But I personally, this is of all the features that have gone premium or are new premium features that would justify the extra cost in my mind. This is one of those that I think is really helpful from a productivity and reviewing meetings that you missed out on standpoint, adding chapters in there and skipping to the parts that you care about. That's pretty cool.
Do you think this is just me being crass?
What's up, Tom?
People often, there are organizations where they overschedule meetings, where there's just, let's have a meeting and let's talk about a meeting. Let's have a meeting about meetings. Okay. Yeah. And most people are like, okay, today I have 2, like as recipient of the meeting invites, I'm like, 2 of these are very important. 2 of these would be nice to be in, and I don't care about these other 6. Do you think attendance at meetings is going to go down? Because then it's like, how about you just in a paragraph tell me what you talked about in that half-hour or hour meeting? Do you think meeting attendance will go down once adoption of this picks up? And then actually the only people that actually have to be on that call will be on that call until the point happens that it's a BS call and nobody shows up on the call because everybody's waiting for the recap?
That'd be awesome. That's an awesome question. I would have thought that was the adoption of Teams in general, using channels and collaborating with all the different tabs and tools, with a lot of that stuff in my mind should have taken the place of so many meetings long ago. And it's not that it's not used, but we seem to somehow still find needs or reasons to create meetings to fill up the calendar. Like open space on the calendar is viewed as a bad thing. And I'm like, no, that's working time. That's where you actually do work when the space is clear. But I don't know. I'm doubtful. I'm doubtful that as many features as get introduced that we'll stop feeling the need to get on meetings and talk to each other face to face all the time. That just seems to be a part of business side.
Have you used the Viva quiet time feature where it goes through your calendar for the past couple of weeks and says, hey, you know what? You're too busy. I'm just going to block off an hour or 2 hours in your calendar every day from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Don't tell anyone. I still have it on my calendar for like a year from now to go and learn what Viva is. So I'm not there yet. But
there was an excellent Viva boot camp this week. I did advertise it a few times on LinkedIn. I did pop in once or twice. Didn't have a lot of time. You know why? Meetings.
Yeah.
Meetings. So like Viva Boot Camp is the kind of thing where you don't want the intelligent recap. You do want to sit in there and wait and watch the 9 hours of content. I'm hoping it was recorded because I'm sure it was, and I can then go back and watch it. But yes, to the meeting overload thing, there's a thing in Viva that will kind of scan your calendar and go, yeah, you're too busy. Do you want me to just block every day some time off for quiet time? So you don't have to do, personal reflections, but you can like get out and walk the dog, which could lead to a time of personal reflection.
And might prevent you from having to clean up a mess from the dog later on. So
correct. Or you can enjoy your 2 o'clock whiskey.
Right, which we all have penciled in.
Our 2 o'clock whiskey. I'm having that with or without Viva logging things off. So this is the second slide, a personalized timeline. Great with markers and things. So point is ChatGPT has taken over the world and I am ready for my machine overloads. Live translation, super useful.
Yes, that is really cool. I mean, bridging the gap to the max there. Microsoft announced this how many years ago? And
I'm shocked it wasn't there like release day because it wasn't there. It was there and left. Didn't Microsoft have a Skype for Business translation plugin? Now, it was using like Bing Translate, so you'd have to copy the text in, hit the button, and then it'd come back translate, and you could paste it back in. It was a little awkward. Then they got rid of it, probably because the Bing Translate APIs changed, and the intern who wrote it had moved on. But there was some of that. There's a first dip of the toe into the pool at Microsoft for that, and then it's like Teams is now celebrating its 4th birthday, and it took this long to get live translate.
It was a long time coming, and it was one of the things that when it was announced, I was like, "That is super awesome and really exciting, and how futuristic! I can't wait." And then you kept waiting and kept waiting. Here it is. It's part of premium. So that's cool.
Why is it premium? There's a tax to speak to a peer whose English sucks or my Danish is terrible.
Yeah.
And by terrible, I think I know the word hi, right? H-E-J or something like that is hi, and that's all I got in Danish. Tak. Thanks.
One word.
Not a long conversation with about a bunch of hello and thanks.
No, it's very polite conversation, but not a lot else.
It doesn't need to be in my calendar. I should make that a whiskey break instead.
That's a whiskey break right there.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it's a Teams premium feature, but anyway, cool to have.
Yep.
Meeting templates and branded meetings. This is pretty cool. You join in on the Microsoft meetings now. I joined a few meetings hosted by Microsoft, and they've gone all in, like our guy over here on the right with the backgrounds and all that. It does look a lot less cheesy. It's similar to the new backgrounds on Teams Rooms on Windows. Once you see the bright colors and not just the kind of dull black and white default, then it's just much more engaging. And I think it's welcoming when you hop onto the Microsoft, a meeting from someone at Microsoft who's got this feature. It looks like, hey, you took some effort for this meeting. Like I'm valued. Yes. So,
it gives you the feel to me, like when I first showed up to the first couple meetings hosted at Microsoft where they had the background and all that. And I'm like, oh, this is nice. It kind of took me back to like if you were going on site somewhere the first time and you walk into their lobby and you're kind of first like taking in like, oh wow, look at the ambiance, look at the place. You're soaking in the personalized aspects of that business, and I think that kind of gives you an opportunity to set that impression at the meeting level. So what I've seen of it so far is really a very welcome thing. Again, premium, but a very welcome addition to the meeting space.
Yeah, and I think this is okay to be a premium one because it's basically the people who organize webinars.
Yeah,
for the most part. So it's going to be marketing team, a couple maybe salespeople.
Yeah,
it's not something that everyone in the company is going to need.
You're not taking away a core piece of functionality by making it premium. It's a nice to have that's been added in at that premium level. So,
and I think the average end user, if they were to create their own webinar, could just get confused and like not have access to the proper corporate branding and all that, and it just ends up being a mess. So I think this is a great one for specific people.
What's up, Doug? All right.
Yeah. He's late. That's okay. These are recorded. You can always go to YouTube, youtube.com/TeamsRoomsTechTalk, I think. I always get it wrong. You can go there. Do I have a thing? Do we have a thing for where it is?
There is a search feature in YouTube at the very least.
There it is. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Teams Rooms Tech Talk, youtube.com/C, which might be optional, /Teams Rooms Tech Talk. So there we go.
You can now do like youtube.com/@ and then your handle on YouTube to get to your channel too, usually. So that might be
you've changed your handle. You're no longer at GetCSJosh. You're now
you can still get to it. You can still get to it by going to the GetCSJosh, but now if you do the @expert of things, that'll take you there. So
any more gardening videos coming up?
There will be. We're in that season now. We thought we were past the last freeze, and then the last freeze came. So we'll be kickstarting some things, but we moved since I started gardening from Florida to Alabama. So we'll have a new and interesting array of gardening types of initiatives that we'll put out.
Since you mentioned freezing, I'm going to guess the plant-based ecosystem is different enough that you're going to have to
a little bit.
Some of your tricks you have to relearn.
Yeah, exactly. Have to recalibrate the the non-existing skills that were there in the first place to now accommodate for Alabama and red clay soil. So
welcome to Gardening Talk with Josh and Mike. Josh, I've noticed in some of your previous videos, grubs. What is your opinion of grubs? Are they a useful animal or insect that helps churn the soil internally and get nutrients going, or are they an obnoxious mess that eats all of your harvest?
Do you have a feature in here where it like bleeps out cuss words when you're throwing them up there? Because
no, we are fully uncensored. We're on not even an 8-second delay.
Grubs are terrible.
Okay.
Terrible. Yeah.
You know what's more personalized than grubs? Backgrounds and custom user policy packages.
Yeah, very personalized and less disgusting.
So I think we're going to push out a background to all of our employees that involves a grub eating Josh, because that was hate speech towards grubs, and I think you should apologize to the grub community.
I will do no such thing, sir.
Grubs, I don't really want no grubs. Grubs is the kind that get no love from me. Hanging out the passenger.
This show has just gone off the rails. This has gone off the rails.
All right, let's get to a slide that we want to talk about, which is this one: Teams for more protected watermarking. So cool. So deter leaks when sharing sensitive confidential information. Super important, I'm sure, for some industries.
Yeah.
Teams Rooms Premium, Teams Rooms will now, with the Pro license, will show the watermark as well. So you can, for those that are in secure environments that need watermarking, there you go. End-to-end encryption as well. I like how this document that Martin is put together for those rare, extremely sensitive meetings that require disabling core meeting features like recording. You can apply end-to-end encryption. So I think all of my meetings are extremely sensitive.
Yeah.
So I think all of mine need end-to-end encryption, but
yeah, I mean, it's probably for your own safety and legal matters that you apply end-to-end encryption to all your meetings. So
yeah, so good thing to have. Also, the premium. I can see that being a premium feature because again, it's only going to go to your users who need that, not everyone. Same with this, sensitivity labels for Teams meetings and who can record. So again, if you're in a compliance situation and you don't want you may very well not want meetings recorded because then they become legal. Hey, Mr. Trump, could you please send us the recordings of your interactions with these people? I didn't have any. That was the worst Trump. Speaking of the worst Trump, hi, Martin Bohm. You're the best Martin Bohm and the worst Trump.
I'll take that.
I think Michael might have had his 2 o'clock whiskey at like 7 a.m. this morning. So
I didn't hear him singing "No Drugs."
Real quick, is Martin just quiet to me, Josh?
Yeah, he's a little quiet. A little quiet
right
there. Need to up that volume.
Yeah, I will just say beer is so much more than a breakfast drink.
Yeah. We have a question actually in the chat from Doug Schaefer.
And good thing Martin's here.
Yes.
Because he is the expert of things. Can you apply Teams Premium to room resource accounts in addition to a pro or basic license? So stacking licenses. Does Teams Rooms Premium unlock features in Pro, I think is what's asking.
Can you apply? Can you hear me better now?
We can hear you better. Yes, you sound amazing.
What was that question? Can you apply Teams Premium
to room resource accounts
in addition to Pro or Basic? So I guess for a Teams Room resource account, only apply a rooms-based license. That's one other change that's upon its way July time.
Yeah, I think
no, you wouldn't be doing that. Documentation is a little hazy there currently.
I'm gonna be right back.
The Teams Rooms will get in some of the Teams Premium features like watermarking we saw in meetings and things that is coming to Teams Rooms. But I don't know, is there a specific use case, Douglas, around doing
so
that?
I think there's no reason to stack these 2 licenses because the Pro license just imports what's relevant, like watermarking. The only time you would stack it is if you are using the resource account to create the meeting, the webinar. Then you would get the webinar features if you sign in as a resource account and do that. But I think that is not the way we design resource accounts.
No. Particularly for rooms, there's a change coming for July. I think start of July where you can't apply user-based licenses and use user-based licenses with a Teams Rooms device. So rooms license on a room.
So even though it's an add-on, it's not the actual core user license E3, E5. Even though it's an add-on, it's still considered a user license.
I don't know actually. Yeah, I can't. Sorry, my cat's just decided to walk in and destroy everything whilst trying to climb to get to the window.
Yeah, you still have like a junkyard's worth of boxes. Is that true?
I do. I have got rid of some boxes. I've added some more trainers. Trainers is my current problem.
Okay.
I'm currently above the light switch in boxes of running shoes.
Whoa.
So Martin, your cat is why I just left. I thought that my cat had gotten outside, and because I heard the cat meowing, and I'm like, "Oh crap, my family left. I got to go find it." And no, it was your cat. Okay.
Graham's on the Teams Rooms don't need a premium license.
There you go.
Cat's on his way here now, actually.
Oh, attack of the cats. Attack of the cats. Advanced webinars, I think we kind of looked at this already. Anything you want to add on advanced webinars, Martin? With as we see a cat in a tail, just
it's because he's hungry, so he wants me to feed him. Murphy,
their cats are violent killers.
Business.
Lob the cat out the window; it'll go find its own meal.
He will. Advanced webinars. I guess a few little bits that I like the registration wait list, manual approval. Yeah. You still have webinars in the kind of basic webinar form, but advanced will give you these, automated reminder emails. It's always nice to get reminders that your webinar is going to start, customize start and end. I like the wait list and approval because webinars up to 1,000, but now you can have that wait list. Yeah. Cat's now drinking coffee. What's happened today?
It's there's been webinars have been a great tool that has been pretty well adopted and used, I think. But you do hear the occasional ask for a more expansive feature set that gets more customized, especially around registration. This takes some big steps in that direction with the premium license. So
I have two things to add. Graham Walsh is a huge fan of the webinar feature. He finds it super easy to use and seamless without any issues or any confusing things to do. #sarcasm. And much like, are we going to have a movie shortly of Caffeine Cat, which is the follow-up to Cocaine Bear?
The cat with coffee. This should be an interesting evolution in a minute here.
Maybe Murphy can just do this.
What is virtual green room? Because they're like, before the webinar is, don't you come in to the inner meeting and you get to talk and hang out anyway? So what is virtual green room that is different than joining the inner meeting before the thing starts?
If you've got if you don't have any kind of the lobby settings or anything, everyone will just jump straight in. Where the green room is that private space. People who join the webinar would see kind of starting soon. Thank you for joining. I can't remember the exact message, but in the green room, you get that button at the top in yellow, start meeting. So you can have your green room chit chat beforehand. Everyone else is seeing a welcome message, and then you manually hit that start meeting.
I still don't see how that's different then, because you would always join the inner meeting, and you only have one shot to start. I guess it's a webinar, not a live event. I guess that's a difference. I have live events in my head. Yeah, I think that cat needs to be thrown out the window.
He's hungry and he's biting me now.
You just got bit, didn't you?
Yeah.
All right, so this is webinar, not live event, so I guess that explains my confusion. You have this anyway.
I just got some lunch and I put it down and he's now in it.
Caffeine Cat, man, be careful. Like Cocaine Bear was a very entertaining movie. Just putting that out there. So a couple RTMP things that are new. RTMP is cool. RTMP in, which is interesting, that you can pull in from someone else's stream as opposed to RTMP out, which is essentially what we're doing on StreamYard here. We're RTMPing out to LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitter. So pulling in a feed is cool. And then the Enterprise Content Delivery Network, is this really a competitor to Collective and Hive? Like, instead of having to pay them for their ECDN, you'll just use Teams?
Microsoft acquired Peer 5. So it is an ECDN solution for live events only. But included as part of premium, or you can add it on. I think the partner solutions are available as well, but this is kind of a Microsoft ECDN add-on as well. So I think each Hive collective, Microsoft, all got slightly different features in there. But definitely review which one.
Someone told me Collective and Hive have more features. They can do more than just Teams meetings, and the Microsoft ECDN is pretty much just Teams meetings only.
But that's for live event experiences. Yeah. So I think this is where if you with Teams Premium, you need to check. Some of the features are organizer only. Some of them you need to have all premium licenses to consume. So when you go through those features, double check the license requirements for this. So Microsoft ECDN can be added as a SKU outside of premium, but it can be included as part of premium.
William's question on live meetings versus webinar in real time. Webinars are real time. They are meeting-like rather than production-like in nature.
I'm not. Is someone feeling rough? I don't know if Greg can hear my dog downstairs.
I don't know whose it is. It's either yours or Josh.
Nah, it's not mine.
That's Dexter downstairs.
Mark, I'm not trying to tell you how to run your kingdom, but you might want to get your animals under control. I think the animals are ruling the roost, and you're a slave to the animals. Advanced virtual appointments. Wait, didn't we? Oh, this is just virtual appointments again, I think. Martin, anything to add on virtual appointments? Other than
this is a new meeting type for B2C meetings, leveraging advanced virtual appointments.
It's interesting that this has a reference of Teams using SMS, because that is a much wanted feature the ability to SMS in and out of Teams. So, anything to add here? Nothing?
No,
It is what it is.
there's a lot of premium in this deck this month.
There is.
Yeah.
More advanced virtual appointments app and Q View. That sounds like an English word.
We do love a queue. Now you can view the queue.
There's a terrified burglar downstairs. That's a Home Alone reference, isn't it?
to the dog. Yeah.
Yep. Usage reporting. That's cool. Turn up the noise suppression.
Yeah.
Or turn down the dog. You know, it's why put it on the human? How about hey dog? Show some respect. The kids are probably playing with the dog and having the time of their life.
In StreamYard, is there by the looks of it?
I'd have to be done locally. Yeah, more virtual appointment stuff, reporting, always good, and then a custom waiting room. So Microsoft's all about waiting rooms and green rooms and lobbies right now. It's like, you know what? You joined this meeting on time. How about you wait? And then, you know what? I'll just read the recap later of how the meeting went instead of waiting in your lobby and green room.
Yeah.
This is more exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Just because it's there doesn't mean you can do anything with it. But your devices are now in the Pro Portal. Coming soon, the ability to actually do something with them other than reboot them. Part of the whole moving Teams Admin Center to Pro Portal to move it back into Teams Admin Center. If that's confusing, don't worry about it. Just use 2 tools for now. And in a while, could be a long while, you'll have 1 tool to rule them all.
But it had been a very big pain point for a lot of customers that were just like, look, when can my Android devices be in the Pro Portal? And so that this, like you said,
yep.
More functionality to come, but this is a welcome start to solving that problem.
And they are in the Pro Portal. Did you ask for much? It's like one of those Genie things. Hey, Genie, can you get Android devices into the Pro Portal? Done. Can I do something with them in the Pro Portal? Well, that's a second question.
You don't get more wishes. That's yeah.
Lenovo ThinkSmart 1. This is a great one when you write training and documentation material where you have to change everything that used to say Android devices are all in one and Windows devices are distributed. Then Logitech brought out the Roommate and Poly, the GC. G7500. Now Android can get distributed, and so then it's okay, cool. All Windows devices are distributed, and then Lenovo releases a ThinkSmart 1, and you're like, okay, now I need to reword an entire section of training and documentation.
Hey, man, breaking down barriers, right?
Yeah,
that's not every Android fits a specific mold, and that's okay. So.
Nope, and looks like the Crestron Flex with a Dell Optiplex. So good on Crestron spreading out. I think they were Asus. Compute modules. I know they've added on Dell, so good for people who would rather use Dell, or if you're a Dell shop, good to do. Yeah. Some more wireless headsets. Always prefer wireless over wired, but I'm not in a call center, so I don't have to worry about Bluetooth and wireless signal congestion. Qi wireless charging is a big one. So if you don't know what that is, that's like if your mobile phone is the main use case. Often in your car, there'll be a place, set your phone down here, and it'll charge while you're driving. So that's Qi wireless charging. It is coming to the headset world. I know at Jabra there are at least 2 headsets that now support Qi wireless.
Yeah.
So good for Logitech. And then Link, I mean, it might seem basic, wired headset, but those are super useful, especially if you are a little light on budget and you want everyone to use a certified device.
Yeah.
Get a wired headset. You don't need all this Qi wireless charging and fancy features. Just get people onto certified devices, and all meetings will be better. Yeah. Even the ones you read the recap of because you didn't attend.
Probably still reading and listening to the recap on the headset, so it's
Yep. Teams Phone update, primarily bug fixes. Always appreciated. We always want to see the bright and shiny new features. But on occasion, it's awesome to see, like, hey, there's some bug issues. Calling resiliency, I wonder if that's an SBA kind of thing, or just the ability to handle like a bad network. Like
when I read that, what I thought was that they had to do with your phone kind of you lose the connection. It says reconnecting or trying to connect. that's what I thought that was referring to, is the ability to make that be a more snappy, resilient reconnection. But I don't think it's SPA related.
I think the last one saves people's jobs.
But yeah,
the last one is the boss doesn't get notified when a delegate puts a call on hold. Boss, I put him on hold. Well, you did. You've been failing at your job. Blah blah. It's like I put him on hold. I hit the button. There's a bug. Sure, there's a bug. A month later, you're like, hey, boss, free lunch, please. Buy me some Starbucks.
yeah.
Let me have my 10-minute whiskey break at 2:00 now.
I mean, all these are really good fixes. I hadn't heard about the issue of not being able to hang up a call. That's a big problem. So glad to see that fixed.
And that's what we have for that. That's that on that. Martin, who owns a zoo. Enterprise Connect is next week. You're going to be there.
Yes. Yeah, I'm on the booth.
You're booth babe?
Booth babe, yeah. Covering premium, rooms and phone.
So basically the deck we just went through.
In a way, yeah, covering those topics.
Yep, Josh and I will be there as well.
So, are you both there?
Yep.
We'll both be there. We'll be in booth as well. So just not
my dog and cat will not be there. So
okay. We'll probably have more focus than at the event.
We'll have more focus when with 1,000 people walking around than with one dog and one cat. But Martin, and I don't know if Tom's still on. Do a Teams Fridays next Wednesday. We won't do it live, but we'll just get together because I know, and there's Martin and Josh probably know as well. There's a big announcement coming for my little corner of the world. But what has been teased is some major announcements at the whole Microsoft Nicole Herskowitz presentation at Enterprise Connect.
Yeah.
So I can't say anything because I like my job. I don't know what the major Microsoft announcements are. Martin, you might be. So would you like to share?
I tune in I'll tune in next week to Nicole's session.
You don't want to announce on Teams Fridays that Microsoft is renaming themselves to Microsoft GPT.
No spoilers for me, I'm afraid.
No micro GPT announcements on this call. All right, Teams Friday is not the place to show that for live breaking news.
Very disappointing, Martin. Very disappointing.
Well, Josh, do you want to announce what Jabra has to announce next week? We can go ahead and announce that.
Yeah, no, I'm like even more fresh to the job than you are, so I think I'll stay in my lane on this one.
Well, that way you can afford just getting a new job faster because you're only 5 weeks in. You haven't even completed all the intro training.
I'll still decline. Decline. I'm gonna hold that position. So it's gonna be a good week next week. Lots of cool news across the board for I think many organizations out there. But I'm excited from the Jabra side, excited from the Microsoft side. There's really cool things there. So if you're gonna be at Enterprise Connect, you have the opportunity to stop in and see a lot of the stuff in person and get your hands on things at all the different booths. But if you're not, you're going to be watching remotely. Stay tuned in because it'll be a week full of amazing announcements.
And if you didn't watch Selling Teams Rooms, the show before this show, go to the Enterprise Connect website. You can air quotes buy a free ticket to the Nicole Herskowitz presentation at Enterprise Connect, which all these things, which are apparently a super huge Microsoft announcement and one that. Another one that Ilya may or may not announce. Ilya will be on stage. So, yeah, go to enterpriseconnect.com, sign up for the free Nicole Herskowitz live stream, and then tune in and watch that. And if you don't do that, we will probably do a live Teams Friday on Wednesday, but actually we'll record it and then play it on Friday. So if your work week is busy, depending on where you are, Friday morning, Friday afternoon, you can catch up on these announcements.
Can do a Teams Wednesday, not Friday.
We're going to do a Teams Wednesday. Unless you guys think we should live stream a Teams Wednesday. We can live stream it. I'm not against it, but we can talk about it.
Taco Tuesday, but on a Thursday.
Taco Tuesday on a Thursday? It doesn't work.
Yeah. It's Team Friday, but on a Wednesday. That's
As long
okay.
as I get the right time next week, then I'll be
Oh,
okay.
we'll all be in the same time zone and in the same building.
Yeah, no excuses next week when you're in the same time zone. That doesn't work.
So when is UK changing the daylight savings time? Is it this weekend? Because there's always like an awkward 2 or 3 week period.
Oh yeah. I think it's Sunday. The day I fly.
Yeah.
Don't miss your flight. That's
Don't miss your flight.
When I first moved here, I live right on the border of the Eastern Central time zone. And so I fly out of Atlanta and in the Eastern time zone, but I live in the Central time zone. I nearly missed my first flight because I pegged it an hour off. I was running full speed, bags up through the airport, and they were closing the gate. It was close.
Yep. Yeah, so long as our team's Wednesdays doesn't clash with our 2 p.m. whiskey break.
Yeah,
we're good. Why don't we just film it during our? Well, I don't know when Nicole's doing her presentation. We could film it during the 2 p.m. whiskey break.
Yeah, I think you should.
Just go to Record Bar and record it from a corner.
Yeah. I think that would make it even more intriguing.
Yeah.
I think you should film it after being at the bar for a while and then film it.
I like my job. I already say enough off the cuff, offhanded things.
That's true.
I don't need to have my tolerance of my self filter needs to be strong on these things.
I was just wondering why is there someone standing next to you, but then I realised it's probably The Rock from your cardboard cutout collection.
The Rock is drunk and likes to fall over. So we often have to park him next to the wall.
You really do have a Jabra showcase going on in the background there. You got some P20s, P50. I mean, Josh is also sporting some Jabra goodness there, I see as well.
Yeah.
I was on a if you want to look it up, I was on a call with Jimmy Vaughn and Ryan Hertz of Unified Communications. So I had to Jabra up the office.
Yeah.
And so
beyond brand.
Yeah, beyond brand. Like even the lights are yellow.
Yeah. I cannot figure yellow out on my Elgato light strips. This is the closest I can get back there. Also, I'm colorblind, so that doesn't help. But the yellow on screen does not show up yellow on the wall. So difficult.
There we go. I even got a yellow Snoop Dogg.
Hey, look at that.
That's commitment to the brand, and the brand image is to have
it is
yellow Snoop.
It is. I need to get some cardboard cutouts now. I just got to figure out who my eclectic.
Dude, cardboard cutouts is a world. It's all Star Wars characters. There's 3 options: Star Wars characters, and Eric Taylor's got that market cornered.
Yep, can't touch that.
Professional wrestlers, big cutout market for professional wrestlers, but male or female. I don't need some oiled up somebody behind me. Like we don't need that.
Graham's got the Queen.
And then politicians. So if you want frozen Biden sitting in his little chair huddled, you can get that. You can get these senators and congressmen from the U.S. I've never heard of as cutouts. So trying to find not Star Wars characters and not a political charged background and famous people that don't piss you off is actually a bit of a challenge. It took hours to settle on these 3. These are my coworkers.
Yeah, challenge accepted. I think I'm gonna have to figure out how to come up with some interesting ones. Randy Chapman just spilled the beans and said Microsoft Teams Rooms is going to become Vivo Communication Rooms or Communicator Rooms. So VCR.
Yeah, we're gonna go use the VCR.
Yep.
VCR. Yeah.
Be kind. Rewind.
Thanks for breaking that, Randy. That's awesome.
Live local first. We do break news on Teams Rooms.
Yeah. Wouldn't bet your jobs on it, but that's
why not? It's just as likely.
It's a distinct possibility, I suppose.
Yeah. All right. Any other news or any other work topics top of mind?
Any other things I've seen? Wasn't there an update for MTR and Android released maybe yesterday?
That's the big announcement. It was covered on Selling Teams Rooms, but. Okay. Front row? Is that the front row release?
Yeah,
and HDMI ingest. I'm doing it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
That's right. No, I think that's it. So, yeah, great to see you,
Sorry,
John.
HDMI ingest for audio. HDMI ingest was always on Teams Rooms Android. Now, when you are playing a video, the audio of that video will go through. There's a bunch of other things on that one that were. It's a huge bump on that Teams Rooms Android.
The other one was the Windows 11 added to the roadmap for MTR on Windows.
Yep.
For eligible devices, I'm not sure what that eligible list. I know Tom.
So Windows
is on
11 has hardware requirements based off CPU and what's it called? The little secure module on the CPU.
Yeah, TPM.
TPM, and like Surface Pros may not have those, so your smart docks may finally hit the wall. In some cases, you just need to update your compute module, right? The camera, speakers, microphones, all that should be fine. But if you got, one of the first generation 8 or 8th gen Intel CPUs, those are not Windows 11 certified, so they will not be offered Windows 11. Windows 10 support will last for at least 2-ish years, so it's not something you have to do right away. And that's Windows 11. Probably most devices are certified, but I'm pretty sure Microsoft will put together a list, or they should put together a list of what is eligible, which kits from the vendors, manufacturers, OEMs is eligible for that. All right, Martin, Microsoft's going to put that list together.
That's somebody else's dog, or is that my dog echoing?
No, that was actually mine this time. Sorry. Technically, it wasn't mine. We picked up a stray on the road and trying to find it a home, and it's obnoxious.
So everybody has a dog. You guys have dogs, and I've got a Snoop dog.
Yeah, well, look at that. Hey.
That's your dad.
Yours doesn't bark, though. I think Dexter might be.
No, he drops sweet rhymes, though.
Yeah,
I will say when I do the demo of the intelligent camera, like how it auto zooms and recognizes faces, I will put Snoop down and say, so in the meeting, Snoop has to leave and go for a smoke. And then once then the camera readjusts, and it's like, so Snoop's feeling good. He's ready to continue the meeting, and I bring Snoop back into the meeting. So I always drop Snoop as going for a smoke. Apparently, I have grubs.
Vile.
I have updated Teams Friday website, Michael.
Yes, I noticed yesterday my podcatcher. Something like there's 8 new episodes. I'm like, really? So I listened to one.
Yeah, this today is episode 24. So I'm finally caught up on the episode numbers, but the podcast I've added it. I've added the audio to the podcast, updated the website, and we've obviously got YouTube now on Teams Room Tech Talk.
Yes.
I'm more up to date than I have been. I only had to add maybe 11 episodes.
So if I spelled that correctly in a hurry, aka.ms/Teams Fridays.
You got an aka.ms for this, huh? There you go.
Oh, yeah. You've made it if you have an aka.ms.
Yeah, no kidding. I need to get a aka.ms/expert of things in there. That's what I need.
Yep. All you need is a friend at Microsoft that you can coerce.
Yeah, Martin, I want to have a meeting with you after this call if you're good with that.
Martin's like, I need a Pinacast 50.
Yeah.
Trade.
It's not bribery; it's a trade. It's exactly. I'll give you a little Microsoft. You give me a lot of Jabra, and we're good to go. Anything else top of mind? I think we're just stretching it out now.
No, I'm good. I need to go sort my dog, feed my cat.
Yep.
You probably should. It's starting to sound dangerous back there.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Josh. Thanks as always.
Thanks for having me.
See you next week. Martin, see you next week as well. And look for Teams Wednesdays, either on Wednesday or on Friday, or why not both? Live stream it on Wednesday and then replay it on Friday.
Twice the goodness. All kinds of news next week. It's going to be hard to fit it into one show. So
yeah, everybody's telling me it's going to be a huge news week. I know Josh and I are sitting on one that's pretty epic, but I've been told that's not nearly epic enough compared to the other epicness. So eager to see what's being announced next week.
Yeah. Teases everywhere.
All right. Oh, there's a cat on the screen. Time to go.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.